Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 12 of our F1 2003 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Belgian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We've been through the summer break and Ferrari, we have brought 4 upgrades to the car, which if you watch the Hungarian Grand Prix, we might not need at the moment because we absolutely dominated proceedings last weekend. We just had the best car, to be completely honest with you guys. This car struggles a bit in a straight line, but is very, very good through the twisty bits. And obviously, the Hungaroring is just all twisty bits, so we ended up taking the victory. Michael Schumacher came through for P3 for his second third place finish in a row, but for the first time all season, we take the lead of the Drivers' World Championship. We have a 7-point buffer at the top of the table. It's very much become a 3-horse race with just 5 races to go. David Coulthard there on 155. He's going to need to chalk up a few more victories, but Belgium and Italy should be really, really strong circuits for the McLaren man as well. And of course, obviously, the return of Hockenheim a little later on in the season. So, yeah, going to be very, very interesting to see what happens throughout these last few races. Ferrari, 110-point lead in the Constructors. That one's looking pretty safe for us as well. But Michael Schumacher will be hoping over the summer break that he's been able to kind of refocus, regroup, because really ever since Baku, he hasn't had the measure up against ourselves. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed. We're trying to hit 140k. Before F1 25 releases now in just a couple of weeks. And also, if you want to help support us just a little bit more, you can click the join button for just £1 a month. You get early access to all the videos as well as a few of the little perks. That'll carry over into F1 25 as well. So yeah, definitely, hopefully it's going to be very good value for money at the moment when we're posting out lots of videos in the not too distant future. But yeah, without further ado then, let's head here to Belgium. Well, I'm pretty certain we've had the most pole positions of anybody so far this season, but I'm certainly not expecting it to be the case this weekend. I have finally remembered to put the new gearbox in the back of the car, but to be honest, I think we're going to end up lining up mid-pack here. Again, obviously the huge Kemmel straight in Sector 1, the uphill run back towards the bus stop at the end of the lap as well, all are going to be very, very bad for us, but this is Belgium, so there is changeable conditions on the radar ready for tomorrow afternoon as well, so how that's going to affect things, only time will tell. I've tried to make sure that we've got a well-balanced car that we can push throughout the entirety of the lap. You can see 3/4 of a second down on David Coulthard by the end of Sector 1, and as we make that curbing through the exit of Les Combes, this is going to have to be the part of the lap where we try to claw back the time against the AI as well. A little bit of a kick of oversteer as we make our way through Malmedy as well, but yeah, I mean, this circuit, again, I seem to do really well on the circuits that I'm normally not a big fan of inside this game. Obviously, the Hungaroring I hate, but, you know, we just seem to have really good races there. Belgium, on the other hand, I absolutely love, and not many seem to go my way inside this game. I think I remember in 2000 we won and bagged a 1-2 with BAR, but I'll be very surprised if that happens today. But, of course, Michael Schumacher, he always used to go well around this venue as well then, as we did claw back a bit of time against Jensen Button by the end of Sector 2. We're up to a provisional P5 at the moment, but I'm sure we're going to drop a couple of places as well. Even Sauber looked very competitive against us throughout free practice there, but in towards the bus stop chicane then. Really got to try and throw the car at the curbs through the entry and the exit. Lean on that traction control. Try and get the power down on the exit. P8 on the grid. That is a disaster because that'll be P13, but I felt like there wasn't much more time I could find. Well, there we are then. Jensen Button, he will join me in the 4 pole position club so far this season. David Coulthard up in P2 ahead of Kimi Räikkönen. But yeah, like I said, the Sauber's very, very quick here. Olivier Panis up in P5. But again, it's a bit tricky because obviously we brought all these upgrades to the car. And a track like Belgium just isn't going to suit it anyway, so we'd have no idea whether all those upgrades are working very well or not. But yeah, today is sadly going to be damage limitation, I feel. But with changeable weather, anything can happen.
Welcome along then to the Belgian Grand Prix, the race that gave us the maiden victory for the Jordan team in 1998. and in the same team, the phenomenal debut of a young Michael Schumacher. There's always something special around one of the many corners of this fan-favourite circuit. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes Forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high-quality racing as well. Simply put it, there really is no place quite like Spa. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. There's a new gearbox in the back of that car, which means a grid penalty. And hopefully some excitement as they make their way through the field.
Fingers crossed that's one failure they won't have to worry about today at least. There's not much of a silver lining to starting down the field with a penalty, but I think they'll be able to make some of that back up over the course of the race.
Well, here we are then down in P13. Quite unfamiliar territory for us so far this season, but like I said, rain is predicted right towards the end of the afternoon. Could we try and gamble? No, of course we can't because we qualified inside the top 10. I always forget this was still a rule inside F1 2020 that you have to start on the tyres you qualified on. So definitely no chance of an alternate strategy today. I believe David Coulthard is also taking grid penalties. So yeah, there we go. One of our championship rivals in trouble as well. 5 red lights to on the grid here in Belgium. It's going to be lights out, and away we go there. Michael Schumacher has been promoted up to P3 then with all those penalties, so he'll be looking for a good start on the run in towards turn 1. I just want to try and stay out of trouble. So immediately there we have a little bit of contact with Giancarlo Fisichella, who didn't fancy give me any room on the inside. Maybe I was a little bit cheeky to try and keep the nose there, but to be honest, I'm just happy not to lose a place. Well, on lap 1 as I thought everybody would be easy flat through there, but apparently not. Giancarlo Fisichella having to lift out in his Toyota ever so slightly, right up towards the limiter then, to make our way up the Kemmel straight, and we will try and get past Zott Baumgartner as well then. So an aggressive start. Coulthard getting a little bit caught out behind, I believe that was Fernando Alonso getting out of shape, so immediately up into the points and ahead of one of our big championship rivals. So that is critical of the start of the race there, and Coulthard actually seems to be really struggling through those first few turns, trying just to gather it up there. Maybe it taken a little bit by surprise that we went for the move where we did. Don't think there's been as much movement up towards the front of the order. But yeah, really interesting start then here. I think it's still Button leading the way ahead of Kimi Räikkönen there. So obviously Räikkönen used to love this venue as well. I don't believe Jenson Button ever won here, but I do know that he took his one and only pole position for McLaren around this circuit as well at the 2012 Grand Prix. So yeah, Button clearly likes this place over one lap. But a lot of rambling on lap 1. Some fun facts for you all as well, as we're going to try and get a run then on Jarno Trulli to the inside. Ready for Blanchimont there, and well, we were committed. I was not going to be backing out of that, and Jarno Trulli forced to bail. So then, that Williams car neither quick in a straight line or particularly quick through the corners. Of course, it was really 2004 that the Williams downfall began, but seems to be happening 1 year early, as this time around to the outside of Blanchimont then. And similar to Alonso against Schumacher back at Suzuka a couple of years after this, round the outside we will go in a brave move up into 8th place then, as Schumacher actually setting fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I tell you what, the upgrades are working on this car. It does feel a bit quicker in a straight line. We've really kind of tried to focus on that. Although, of course, everybody else's, qualifying fuel modes and everything will really help them. Yeah, we've got a pretty quick car now in a straight line. If we try and stay on board and look at the relative to Anthony Davidson, I know we make up a lot up through Eau Rouge and Radillon, but even when we get out to the Kemmel Straight as well, you can see Anthony Davidson, we've actually got a bit more top end. It seems to get to VMAX a lot quicker than it used to. So, yeah, clearly I think these upgrades are working. Well, it has been a bit of a shame that BA are just falling away pace-wise this season. It was great seeing Anthony Davidson as kind of the giant killer over the course of last year's campaign, but of course this is the reality of Formula 1. Teams ebb and flow in terms of performance, but one thing remains a constant: Ferrari are usually fast. 2001, oh no! Davidson's hit me! What on earth's happened? He's out of the Grand Prix! A couple of weekends ago then, obviously we had a weird little collision with Montoya where he locked up, but I probably kind of moved in, and it was a bit of a racing incident according to you guys. What do we make of that one? I mean, it feels a little bit to me like Hamilton with Alonso, if you guys remember back in 2022. There is a car's width on the inside there. We kind of realised that at the last moment. He could have taken a bit more curb. I'm surprised that's taken him out of the Grand Prix, actually. I don't know if it has, but... Anthony, I apologise. That was probably a little bit on me again. I just expect the AI to either stay further alongside or back out, or at least use the apex curb. Well, the speed we're able to carry through the middle sector here is utterly ridiculous against the likes of Montoya and co. You can just see again the AI, I think they're just trying to save a little bit of fuel up in towards Blanchimont there, but to the outside of GPM, we'll try and have a look. Again! What is Montoya's problem, man? Every time I have a look to the outside of him, he locks up, and well, after causing the incident with Davidson earlier on in the lap, I don't want to cause another one here. You guys are very mean in the comments. But clearly that's Montoya's defense strategy. I look to the outside, he then locks up and forces me to avoid him. I tell you what, it is always great to see Olivier Panis delivering well inside this series, because he really is one of those what-ifs in Formula 1, of course. Got that victory at Monaco 96. Had that horrific accident, I think it was in 1998, where he broke his legs in Montreal in his Prost car, and just never was the same again, as we've seen with so many drivers, past and present. But yeah, certainly this season, doing a really, really good job getting some standout results in those Saubers. I'm just getting a little bit worried, though. We have just set a new fastest lap of the day, but I think the gap towards the front runners is extending by quite a lot here. We're actually struggling to really keep up with Juan Pablo Montoya and these guys just in front. Ever since that little moment, I've just lacked a bit of pace over these last couple of laps there. It doesn't seem like Montoya can do anything against Panis. But yeah, I think obviously we've got Schumacher, Coulthard and Button leading the way. Jensen, I think, just wants redemption for last year. If you guys remember, was running up in the podium places, keeping up with the McLarens, the Williams even, and then the engine blew up on him with 2 laps to go. He will be hoping the same does not happen today. Come on then, let's get a run on Montoya. Don't want to deal with him for too long in this race. We'll try and have a look to the inside, see if we can get a run. It's definitely not going to happen, especially when I nick the grass, but just see there, I think he's having to blend the throttle ever so slightly, either that or the slipstream really carrying us along. As I mean, Montoya wants to defend that more than pretty much any other driver on the grid, but we will get the switch on him then, and finally up into 6th place here. We are making decent progress. I can still see the leaders there as well. Look at JPM coming back at me in towards La Source there. We should be able to hang on to it. So we try and put the power down through the exit of the corner, but Montoya, just like he was in real life, he can be one feisty customer. Oh, we got yellows, Someone's dropping to the wayside then. Is that Alonso? We've got a safety car. I mean, that basically just gives everybody a chance to pit, but no idea who's gone from this race. There it is, it's Button! No way, the 2nd year in a row! Jensen Button on for a huge result here in Spa. And again, it is going to go wrong for him there. Schumacher's got a 5-second penalty. No idea what our teammates done, but that's going to screw us over. Because, of course, Schumacher will serve his penalty now, and we're going to be held up behind him. So this is an absolute disaster, then, in this Grand Prix. Is Schumacher being held, and, well, we're going to be at the back of the field, surely, by the time we come back out. If I'd known he had the penalty, I probably would have waited. He's got to put a front wing on the car as well. No idea what's happened to Michael Schumacher in this Grand Prix, but he has completely screwed me over there, as we've been waiting for 25 seconds in the pit lane before we even get into the box. Now the team have got to scramble to try and get the jack and everything else like that. Get the car lifted up, lads. Come on, get on with it. 8-second pit stop. 8 seconds, despite the fact we waited for a good 15 before we could even get into the box. And luckily, we're not quite going to be out in last place, but 15th here. 13th for Schumacher. Again, Ferrari with a strategic disaster class. Why didn't they tell me to stay out? Well, as we saw then, not many cars opting to pit under that safety car, but the circuit now is starting to look very, very overcast. So if the AI can stretch their tyres, they might have pulled a bit of a blinder here. No idea how long the rain is away.
The rain is a few laps out yet, but it is coming. Be careful. Dry.
Oh no, that doesn't bode well. Although that being said, though, so far this year, Ferrari have absolutely had the wet tyre advantage over everybody else. So Schumacher and I, just like we saw back in La Castellet, we were having a terrible race out and were able to recover in the end to both scoring a podium. I believe Ferrari is a team we finished on the podium every single race this season up to this point. And hopefully that will continue this weekend as we get green flag racing once again. Jacques Villeneuve just in front of me in his Toyota car. We've ended up further down the order than where we were when we started this race. I'm just hoping we don't see most of the AI pit now, although it would help the likes of Bernardi in this Grand Prix as well. Then is trying to immediately get a run on Jacques up the hill, up the Kemmel Straight. Of course, we are particularly great friends in this series. I feel like I made a lot of enemies in this game. Just look at the straight line speed of that Toyota car. Michael will jump round Schumacher as Baumgartner wants to get involved with all of the brothers. As Michael there around the outside through the exit of Lecom and up then into P11. So he's trying to put a few cars between him and myself. We are just trying to remain in hot pursuit there as always. Brother, again, willing to do his dirty work for him. That covers me off through the exit of the corner. Can we get a run down the hill though? Yes, we can. I mean, look at that. Jordan, my old team, no straight line speed in comparison. And we are straight back up into 13th place then, as someone else just in front of Michael really struggling. Our teammate trying to look around the outside then, in towards Fanyas. I believe that is Rubens Barrichello. Of course, inside this game, those two still have yet to be teammates.
Rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
Yeah, so that rain is going to basically happen at any time now then, as fresh tyres against old Baumgartner's old ones. And a car that is a little bit quicker through the corners as well. That should be a fairly simple move as Schumacher trying to make sure that whenever we overtake a car, he does the same. He's going to struggle now though as we close in on Rubens up in towards the bus stop. To the inside we'll go. Oh, a little bit of a lock-up on the way in, but we'll slide the car through as Mark Webber dives into the pit lane as well. So cars are now pitting in this Grand Prix. And why didn't the AI box under the safety car? Such weird strategies going on here in Belgium. But I guess they didn't want to risk it if the rain had started. I wonder how many more cars we're going to see dive into the pit lane then at the end of lap 12. Of course, so far, obviously only Michael and I have stayed out there. Jarno truly wants to stay out as well with us, as well as I think that might be a Williams car. There we go. No idea who's leading the Grand Prix, but a new fastest lap for us is DRS. That's completely irrelevant in this mod, isn't it? I have done testing with it before, I know I've said to you guys, but the DRS makes zero difference to car performance inside this mod, but I think the last time Schumacher and I had a proper dogfight in this series was all the way back at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, the European GP, so it's been a while since Michael and I have raced each other on the road, but we are finally back battling. Oh, there we go. Rain is finally appearing on the dash. And look at that. Jarno Trulli, he's staying out again then. So it might actually... Yes, Olivier Panis that's leading the race. Have Sauber spotted something here that nobody else has then? Sauber, I didn't even realise they were having a 1-2 currently in this Grand Prix. And let's not forget, by this time, Sauber still yet to win in Formula 1. So what a result that would be for them today if they can do it. But I've no idea how heavy the rain is meant to fall around this circuit. But of course, yeah, we are probably going to make the switch over to the intermediates. The AI, though, the Michelin teams only bring full wet tyres to these Grand Prix. We only bring intermediates, so going to be a very, very tricky balance. But so far this year, it has always worked for us. The only thing I'm nervous about is if we get a full wet race. Then we're probably going to be last. But the problem I've got in this Grand Prix is we can't wait for Michael Schumacher to pit, because of course we'll just lose out bags of time to him. So although I don't think this is the perfect lap to dive in, I think it is probably going to be next lap then. This could be critical for our World Championship there, as into the pit lane will go. A set of intermediates scheduled with the team. Nobody else opting to dive in just yet, but I think, yeah, we're already losing a lot of time towards the end of that lap there, as Sato up inside the points right now. That'd be a good day for Jordan if he can hang on in there. Somehow Nick Heidfeld and Massa not in the points, despite the fact that most of the cars have had to pit. But this is going to be a real good indicator really, really quickly as to whether this was the right call. You can already see the AI starting to struggle, as Montoya will get around me there, trying to get a run on David Coulthard, of course, my other championship rival. Haven't seen much of him today, as definitely optimistic. Up through a Rouge Rally on there, and Williams, McLaren and Ferrari fighting. This was the real storyline of 2003 there, but have we got any kind of advantage? Can we get temperature into the tyres? Big lock up there as Montoya. How did we not lose the wing? Coulthard struggling as well. So it is starting to become chaos here. So our cool thought, yeah, immediately the AI really starting to struggle. So we've got to try and make moves as quickly as we can. DRS has been disabled. So we might have nailed this now, but this in-lap is going to be critical. Because, of course, Schumacher will already be right down at the bottom of the circuit. So he won't have far to make it back to the pit lane. But we might have pulled an absolute blinder with the strategy around the outside of Juan Pablo Montoya. And, I mean, it's like a different class of racing right now. As Felipe Massa will kind of find the grip on him. I guess we're still understeering horrendously as well. This circuit is getting very, very damp very, very quickly. But when would you expect any different from this venue there? Down the inside of Nick Heidfeld, we got Sato and Alonso. I mean, Alonso practically pushing him along that corner. Goodbye to the pair of them. And back up then inside the top 10. Very, very quickly, Schumacher peels into the pit lane. And Olivier Panis, we might be about to deny him a second Formula 1 Grand Prix victory there, as you can just see how much time we're gaining on Alexander Wurz then. So we have nailed this, as you just, my brain can't even work out kind of how slow the AI going to be in some of the corners. Someone stayed out. Who on earth has stayed out in this Grand Prix? As you can see, Schumacher on the intermediates. Olivier Panis obviously has to go over to the full wets. Anthony Davidson has opted to stay out here. Schumacher's actually still come out ahead of me. So, yeah, Michael somehow still out ahead of us at the moment then. So Olivier Panis still with the lead in this Grand Prix. We can see now we've got temperature in the tyres. We are flying along. Someone that isn't Anthony Davidson barely able to keep that BAR in a straight line right now. So we've got yellow flags out. A safety car would be pretty disastrous for us at the moment. Down the inside of Anthony will go. And let's just see then. We are taking a bit of time out of Olivier Panis, but it might not be long before the wets are the ideal tyre, which of course we don't have any. Well, I'm pretty certain then it was Jarno Trulli that opted to stay out there. And look at that, yeah, he's lost a pit stop in less than a lap here at the moment. Jarno Trulli really struggling, and we will spot the gap and get past all three of them then on the exit of the corner. Olivier Panis now trying to find a move around his teammate as well then. But Ferrari back into P1. Michael Schumacher still being held up behind Jarno there. So he's going to have to try and find a way around him pretty soon. Otherwise he's going to lose bags more time. But Panis now down to P2. And somehow from 13th on the grid we lead the Belgian Grand Prix. We've done the easy bit though. Now we've got to try and stay on the island. Anything could still happen inside these last few laps. Well, Jeff's already come over the radio twice on this lap telling me that the rain is getting worse and worse. They still think our tyres are the quicker ones, and the gaps would go to show that. But yeah, it might not be long before the full wet tyres have got the advantage. So we've just got to try and stick out here at the moment. There's nothing we can do about it. Yes, Michael Schumacher might be able to claim a set of full wet tyres, but it's something I refuse to do. Because of the tyre rule in this game. The AI, apart from Michael, have to stick to it, and therefore so will I. If it means that he absolutely cheeses a victory, I'll be a little bit upset. But at the moment, we've got a 5-second buffer with 5 laps to go. 3 laps remaining then, and they don't call Michael Schumacher the Rainmaster for nothing in Formula 1. That gap already down under 4 seconds. So he is still definitely the quicker Ferrari driver right now. Doesn't look like the pace is offset though. Doesn't look like the wet tyres are going to work out. So I'll be honest, I'm a little bit gutted for Olivier Panis here, because it looked like he might have pulled a blinder of a strategy until late on. But we've just got to try and bring the car home now. No big risk. Nothing like that. Schumacher's still going quicker than me, but we have got enough in reserve just to hang on. Well, one more lap to go then, and the first race back since F1's summer break. It's Belgium. It's always going to be chaos, isn't it? And there were just so many great races around this venue. Whenever there's changeable conditions in the air, you always know you are going to be in for an absolute cracker here. But we have learned a lot this weekend. Number one, the upgrades on this Ferrari have absolutely worked. And although we might still not have the same qualifying pace as a lot of other teams around us, race pace, we are still absolutely there. Number 2, Michael Schumacher has taken time over the summer break to regroup, refocus. And although he has been a little bit unlucky today, yeah, he is definitely going to bring the fight throughout these final 5 races of the season. Still not many points in it. It still could go either way. Number 3, Olivier Panis, whether it's game or real life, just has an uncanny ability when, you know, when racing gets crazy, just to kind of stick on the road and end up in a really, really good spot. The same can be said for Zob Baumgartner this weekend. Disappointment, though, for Coulthard. This race might be the one that effectively knocks him out of the World Championship fight. I think mathematically it's done the same to Jenson Button as well, thanks to his DNF. And you just wonder what the Renault man could have done here had things gone his way. But Ferrari, we've lacked pace, with that win at the Hungaroring really gave the team some motivation over the summer to get those upgrades on that we knew would make the difference for the second half of the year. I can't help but feel, though, that the gloves are going to come off completely between myself and Michael Schumacher next weekend, because, of course, we'll be back in front of the Tifosi. I don't know the last time I won 2 races back-to-back inside this game. I think it could have been back when we were at McLaren at the end of 2001, but I could be completely wrong. But through the final couple of corners then, once again the strategy has shone on Ferrari this afternoon. Out of the final corner, P1 here in Belgium. Get in there.
What a great race then, and what a magnificent victory here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack. And having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
Well, there we are then. Despite everything that happened, Ferrari bag yet another 1-2 here from 13th on the grid. I completely forgot we started there. To be honest with you guys, we will claim victory. Michael Schumacher, 3rd to 2nd in the end. Olivier Panis, honestly, I think is my driver of the day. Sauber should have nailed the strategy with him, but unfortunately got a little bit caught out. Zob Baumgartner in 4th, ahead of Raikkonen and Alex Wirtz. Jacques Villeneuve gets more points for Toyota, ahead of Alonso Trulli, and Giancarlo Fisichella makes it another Toyota double points haul. Takuma Sato narrowly misses out on points this weekend, just ahead of Nick Heidfeld there as well. And you can just see Jenson Button, despite all the chaos, the only driver that failed to see the checkered flag. David Coulthard, I didn't realise it had gone that badly for him, stuck behind Anthony Davidson right the way through to the end of the afternoon there. World Championship wise, though, it means we've got a 14-point lead at the top of the table. With 4 races to go, it is now a 4-way fight between both Ferraris and both McLaren cars there. Button is out of it. Alonso, I believe, can't win based on count-back results anymore. He could claim 4 wins with fastest laps and get the points if we fail to score in the final 4 races. But I'm pretty certain, yeah, we've had 4 wins this season as well. No, we haven't yet. So Alonso is technically in the fight, but will be out of it by the end of next weekend, and I would assume the same will be said for Kimi Raikkonen as well. Olivier Panis now ahead of Juan Pablo Montoya, who has had a pretty woeful campaign in the second Williams car there. So Baumgartner jumps Villeneuve and Anthony Davidson up into P10 as well. Constructors-wise, Ferrari 143 clear of McLaren. Williams still ahead of Renault and Sauber, with BAR, Toyota, Jaguar, Minardi and Jordan. Your full rundown as well. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like. Get yourself subscribed. We'll be back very soon at the Temple of Speed, our team's home Grand Prix. If there is one we want to win all year, it has got to be in front of the Tifosi. We'll be back ready for the Italian Grand Prix.